Most of us have had experiences where we decide to postpone our work and do something more enjoyable instead. Even I often drifted over to YouTube while working on this speech. But we feel that our work is boring, and we prefer to do something more enjoyable instead, resulting in the procrastination that we experience. Unfortunately, boredom is a common occurrence. Statistics say that American adults are experiencing a fun drought, as new research reveals that average adult experiences 131 days of boredom in a year. Furthermore, about 70% of current high school students reported feeling bored in schools at least some of the time, with 30% of them saying they felt bored all or most of the time. It also doesn't help that the homework we receive feels like a burden to us, as it's often repetitive and seemingly useless. So everyone is susceptible to dealing with this mental state, and therefore it is important to understand why we get bored and what we can do about it. But before we delve into how to deal with boredom, we need to understand what it is. Boredom is when none of the available options to a person seem appealing to them. It indicates that the current activity or situation isn't providing meaningful engagement, so the person can shift their focus to something more significant. Now, that's a lot to take in, so let me break it down for you. Boredom is simply when we have energy we would like to devote to something engaging, but not being able to at the present moment, whether that is because of a lack of resources available at the present moment or having little resources. It's the reason why we feel like playing games or scrolling through TikTok whenever we start our homework. Work is just not appealing to any of us. This makes it really tough for us to concentrate on our tasks, resulting in clicking away from the sites or finding a way for us to escape our duties. So while boredom doesn't appear to be very harmful, it can have some major consequences. For example, teens who are bored are 50% more likely than their peers to take up smoking, drinking, or illegal drugs. Boredom is also one of the most frequent triggers for binge eating, and it increases the risk of depression, anxiety, and a diminished sense of life satisfaction and purpose. So to show its effects, a study was done where people were left in an empty room with a button to press, where pressing it would result in them being shocked. Although all the participants were told that pressing the button would shock them, most of them were still willing to press the button than to sit in silence. Shocking, right? However, there are ways to alleviate its effects. If an activity doesn't seem to be significant to you, you can explore how to engage in more valuable experiences in the future. In the case of a boring task, getting the work over with as soon as possible is a great way to face this, even though that's much easier said than done. In situations that you can't control, such as having to wait in an empty room, meditation can reduce the effects that boredom has on you. Overcoming boredom is a learning experience, as different people have different ways of getting over it. Understanding how you deal with boredom best will provide insight on how to overcome these feelings in the future, and will reduce your chances of being negatively affected by it. So, some common ways people relieve themselves of boredom is by playing video games, browsing social media, and other related activities. But overusing these ends up causing more harm than good. Only relying on screens to relieve boredom often increases the stress that a person feels in their lives. This occurs due to the large amounts of information that a person is exposed to by browsing the internet, resulting in sensory overload in the long run. By taking our time to relax and giving our senses a break, we naturally relieve ourselves of a lot of stress. Some great activities to help recover yourself include going for hikes, gathering up some friends to play some sports, or even setting up a family night where you all play board games together. And now, despite the name, I assure you they're not boring. On the contrary to its negative effects, being bored can also be beneficial to us. You can use idle time to reflect on a situation, which can help clear your mind and assist you in making smarter choices. Also, when we are not busy with other thoughts and activities, we tend to focus inwards and reconnect with friends and families, helping us improve social connections. If you are feeling bored, it could be a sign that your activities are falling into a predictable cycle. By breaking the cycle, you'll not only feel a lot better, but you'll also improve your overall mental health. Now, to end it off, here's a fun little fact I've noticed about how we use the words bored and boring. Although both of these words are used in all three tenses, Bored is more commonly used in the present tense, such as, I'm bored, while boring is more commonly used to refer to the past or the future, such as, that was boring. Now, how will this help you? To be honest, it probably won't, but it was something that I noticed that I wanted to mention, so I hope I didn't bore you with that knowledge. Thank you.